So, don't look at it as work of personal daily interaction. That's something, okay, I need to interact with everyone each day. No, it's not just interacting with them, it's impacting them or influence. So I remember hearing personal daily impact, personal daily influence, and that's your time to coach that person. And for your sales representatives, I think a great way to promote it to them is to call it coaching calls, where you're like, yeah, we have coaching calls. We actually have an opportunity, to speak with a manager, get help, get coaching, think about, and even for you, you're running your own office, right? Like right now, so there's two different parts, right? There's one right now where you don't own the office, right? And then there's next summer, for those of you when you're owning that office. So right now you're talking about, if your manager will say this, you guys, when you're talking to people, want to say like, hey, take advantage of, coaching calls, because you guys have an opportunity. I mean, think about if you're an athlete, right? And if you're in debate, if you're a top singer, performer, don't many of the best athletes, performers have like private coaches or tutors, or don't they? All right, why do they have them?
They want to be the best.
They want to be the best. They don't want to just be good. They want to be the best. And they have someone who's constantly on top of them, keeping them on top of their game, helping them elevate, their game, whatever that may be. Well, guys, you have that. And this is like in day 3. So let's say our day 2 of training. If you're running day 2 of training, when you guys talk about PDI, you want to talk about, hey, PDI is personal daily impact. It's a chance for you guys to get impact from your coaches, from your managers. What these are, they're coaching calls. So you can just write down coaching calls. There's different things that happen. One, you clock in, you clock out. So it's part of the job. You don't have to, at the mall, you clock in, you clock out. You do that through your coaching calls. You don't have to actually drive here. But the bigger part is the impact you get from them. I mean, imagine, okay, think about, and that's where I give the example of like athletes, right? The best athletes, the best performers. Don't most of them have their own private coaches, tutors, someone who's there with them, coaching them along the way, right? Well, guys, you have that free of charge from your managers. And that's what we do through our coaching calls. Every day, your first week and your first 10 days, every single day, you will check in for your coaching calls. Cool? For your first 10 days. After your first 10 days, the only times we'll hear from you are on the days you work. Did everyone get that? This is not in your scripts. This is not in whatever. This is if you really want to do this the right way, really adding that in there and letting them know. So your first 10 days, we are part of your job, and really our commitment to you is that we're going to coach you every day in your first 10 days. So we're going to have a coaching call with you every single day. It might be 5 minutes. It might be 15 minutes. But we're going to have a coaching call with you every morning, all right? Or whenever you clock in for the day, we're going to have a coaching call with you. And many of you guys will have multiple coaching calls throughout the day because you'll call in from demos. We'll give you tips. We'll help you out. We'll debrief at the end of the night. But at a minimum, we'll talk twice a day. When you check in the morning to kick your day off and when you're done for your day, all right? So these coaching calls, after your first week, we'll only hear from you guys. We'll only talk to you guys on the days you're actually working, all right? But in your first week, our goal is to really lay a foundation within your first 10 days that's really built to last, to help you develop the right habits in your first week. And that's something we're really excited about, developing high-powered sales representatives. So we have that in place. And by the way, this is something that, again, in sports, in any kind of performance, you pay a lot of money to have coaches. You have some of the best coaches right here for free. You get to work with blank manager, or you say for yourself, guys, you get to work directly with me. And by the way, I get directly coached by our division manager, Callie Vasquez, who's a 7-time national champion, best in all-time company history office manager. All right. You think that'd be good to get some coaching? You think people pay? Oh yeah, people pay. Just so you know, people pay me $500 an hour for coaching. All right. Just so you guys are aware. All right. So letting them be like, you guys get that coaching free of charge. Like, utilize that, take advantage of that. Get as much knowledge. If I'm you, I'm trying to steal as much free information as I can. And if you do that in your first week, you're really laying a heck of a foundation for yourself. But our best reps, they're constantly calling in. They're always checking in. They're always talking to the managers because they want to get better. And they know, they're like, yeah, why would I not take advantage of free coaching, So we have that for you guys. So on a business standpoint, it's part of clocking in and out. You do that on your coaching calls, but part of just bettering you as a person, as a sales representative, just really improving your business. We do that through your coaching calls. All right. So we'll help you from your demos. We'll clock you in the morning and just letting them know about that. So they're excited to want to take advantage of that, versus not checking in. It's like you have free coaching, We also have, if you want longer time with a manager, you can set up personal consultations. That's 30 to 60 minutes that you can set up to get one-on-one time and sit with a manager and work. So the coaching calls are typically 5 to 15 minutes at most. because these are quick coaching calls, you know, throughout the day or in the mornings, a lot of people to talk to. But if you want to do anything specialized, we can set that time apart with you and get a personal consultation. And again, that's also free. So utilize that, because you will pay a lot of money to have time like that from somebody who knows the business, who is knowledgeable in that field. Then we have our weekly team meetings. You know, our weekly team meetings are phenomenal. Having an opportunity to mix and mingle with the best of the best. And we, you know, right now, we're smaller, we're building, you know, but we have some of the highest, and saying, you know, maybe it's just your accolades. When I was a branch, I was coached by the best, and I had a chance to, you know, win multiple scholarships and be coached by the best. And now, guys, I give that to you. I'm busy during the week. So this was me and my branch, you know, and even as a new DM, I'm like, I'm busy during the week. I have a lot of stuff going on. So many times I don't have as much time as I want to give to you guys, but during the team meeting, I get a chance to really share that knowledge with you. We have workshops, we do recognition, and then we hang out afterwards. And we go to Whataburger, or we go to Applebee's, and we just hang out, get some time together to just mingle and ask me whatever you want so that I can help you, and I am all yours. You know, and then guys, as you have other people and you have, you know, and right now in your teams, I think, you know, about the caliber of people you guys have in your organizations. Are you building them up? You know, in College Station, like, hey, there's people like, you know, Cody, who's trained, James Rushing, who sold over $400,000, the best all-time student rep in Gulf Coast history. We have Jonathan Schmitz, you know, who is one of our top student sellers who worked part-time all during school, and then now, you know, top, you know, this summer and going for, you know, a Rolex. We have Chad, talking about Chad, you know, Kristen, top performer, you know, this time, just really building the people up that we have. You know, Jacob, who is the head district, you know, our branch office manager down in Pearland, going to run his own office this year. Philippe, who's a district office manager this summer, you know, in HTX, which is a Silver Cup championship organization, like #1 in the company last year. And he ran that this year to its best summer ever, you know, best new business and best push periods ever. Like, these people are accessible to you to learn from and to grow from. You'd be crazy not to take advantage of this. Does that make sense, guys? Like, you know, do you promote that so that people are excited to go? Or are you like, we have a team meeting that you have to go to, right? So these are things you can build up to, whether it's in your interview, when you guys pop in, when you're talking to representatives, or if you're running training, making sure that you're building those things up so they're excited to want to be connected, okay? A lot of, and I've heard managers, people have asked me, how do you get your reps to call in for PDI? Like, because they want to. And when we talk to them, we give them value. And we help them and we coach them so they want to keep calling. Unfortunately, that hadn't been done. And even in the pilot, I've been gone for a while. And we, you know, there were certain, and even when Mary Lou and I went out of town and just things weren't set up, and many of our new areas didn't really know that. And if we're not connecting with people the right way, adding value, it's not just a report. When you take a PDI call, you're not a report taker. Got it? Anyway, a monkey can take reports, okay? Like, you're not a report taker, all right? You're someone who's there to impact and influence them. So think about right now, if you could think back to any PDI call you have, can you think right now, is there a time where I took a PDI call and I did not impact or influence that person? Raise your hand. I've had it too. Raise your hand, all right? That call right there, you killed a little bit off of that person from wanting to call back, just so you know, all right? And I've done it. I'm like, shoot, like, I did not, you know, talk to this person, you know, like, I did not get time to connect with this person. So know that. Again, every time I'm talking to it, my objective is to impact or influence this person, all right? So am I doing that through my phone call? So if you guys see here, you have the PDI call, all right? And this is just a great, I've seen a million outlines. I mean, it's all the same. This has Drew's name on it. Drew learned it from all the other managers we learned it from. I pulled up so many different documents from when I first learned PDI. And these are just, you know, if you want to, because I have like a 7-step outline of doing a PDI call. I have so many things. I mean, I've been around 14 years, okay? But when we sat and looked at this, it's like, let's just simplify this, okay? It's time to impact people. What's gonna make us, what's gonna help us do that at the highest level, right? So you have at the top, we've got some keys there, okay? Number 1 is what? Stay organized, okay? What is that system? It doesn't matter. Web PDI is fantastic. I used for years an Excel spreadsheet, okay? And then every Sunday I'd put the projections for my team and I'd print it out, and then it had the whole week so I could put their goal there, and then I had PDI boxes. And I use that with Web PDI. I like Web PDI to track all my stats and numbers. You guys in your branches probably won't use Web PDI. Some of you guys might, but regardless, you just need something. So I had PDI boxes, okay, which I have in the other room, and it's literally a paper. Who's seen my PDI boxes before? All right. So a handful of you guys. It's literally a paper that has boxes. Okay. Like that's what it has. Like it's literally boxes. Okay. And there's 100 boxes per page. And then on the top, it says day. All right. That's literally the PDI boxes. And I think on some of them, it actually says, it has this on the side. And you're like, what is that? Because every row has 10, and every 10 demos typically equals $1,000 in sales. Okay. So especially when I had a smaller team, we have less, I'd split this, you know, just into 2 days. I'd be like, all right, this is Monday. This is Tuesday. All right. And this is something I used for years. I love PDI boxes. Do you need to do this to do great? No, but this is something that works amazing for me. And this is something that I know we have not, in the past 2 months, has not been happening here. And when we're driving sales at the highest level, this has always been happening in my office. We know exactly what's going on. We know exactly the demos. By the way, they're in web PDI, but I can't look at them all at one glance. Or, you know, like you have to do it the right way to click the time to make sure you see all the ones that come up that time. But I want to look at one glance. So I like putting updates. I like being able to look at their goals on web PDI and hold people accountable. I like that it's my calculator because every time I enter a CPO, it adds up where they're at for the day, where we're at for the week. I like the statistics. I like all that. But I like having on paper so I can track. Training finishes on Saturday. I'm writing down their demos. And so however you do it. Some people, someone has 5 demos in the day. They'll put their name here once and put like a line. I hate doing that because once I've gotten my reports for the day, I just see like a line here. I don't know whose that is. You know, and I'm like, oh, whose was that? Whatever. That's up to you and how your brain works. So I just write the person's name down. So I'm like, all right. So if, you know, Ryan has demos, you know, I'm like, all right, Ryan. Actually, we always wrote Culver. But, you know, whatever. So we have, I never wrote Ryan. That feels weird. All right. So Culver has his 4 demos. All right. So we have his there. And so he has one. And on the bottom right corner, I would always put the time. So he has one at 1 o'clock. He has one at 3:30. He has one at 5:30. He has one at 8, you know, whatever it is. So this was for 11. And if it was a 30, it would be this. Or if it was a 45 or a 15, I just round up. But I just circle it. But it's written small. Some people have done this in my PDI boxes. And then I'm like, I have no room to write. Because for me, when I'm doing PDI, I'm like, all right, so Culver has that. So at 2:30, I should have heard from all my 1 o'clock. So when I'm driving PDI, I'm looking at this, or I finish an interview, I'm like, okay, it's 2:30 right now. And I'll literally, this will be my highlighter. But I was about to grab a highlighter and highlight the board. I'll literally grab a highlighter and highlight all the boxes of results that I should have right now. So I'm like, all right, so I should have results from this. I should have a result from this one, or whatever. If it's someone else's, I should have a result from this one. So then, you know, I'll call those people real quick after my interview. Hey, Johnny, I didn't get it. And they're like, oh, yeah, I sold a homemaker. I'm like, all right, awesome. And I'll put their result. Or, oh, they canceled on me. Or, oh, they had to reschedule. So for me, if they reschedule, I just put here this, and I put R for reschedule or NS for no show. So, oh, they had to reschedule. Oh, this one was a no-show. Like, I don't know. It's all right. We'll call them later. Because I wanted to look at that. Oh, Culver sold 1168 on this one. Got, you know, 22 recommendations. So I know what happened on his there. And so I'll keep tracking throughout the day. When we have big demo days, when we have big demo, like I always had that. So I think about like during push in the morning when you have your alliance in for your office in the morning, before they all leave, all their demos are on the tracker. And an extra thing I started adding 2 years ago was putting on the bottom location. So I put here spring, or I put here virtual, or I put here, you know, Tomball or whatever. Why did I do that? Field training. So when Daniel calls in and he's like, oh, my demo canceled, I'm like, where are you? I'm like, you know what? Culver has a demo right now in Tomball. You want to go meet him? And I'd call Ryan, hey, can you meet? Where can he meet you? Okay. And I'd sync the phone, let him decide. All right, cool. Go field training, kill it. You know, and be able to connect people on field training. So I like to have, you know, their location of where it is. So that I can track that. So whether you do that or you do it in a list form, the list form, you just, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's how your brain works. I want to know what the name of my rep, what time their demo was, and the location, and I want to have each day separate, like all my Mondays, all my Tuesdays, so that on Monday I'm following up. So I know what happened with this, and I can highlight the ones I'm missing results from, because then, especially, by the way, this is so important in their first weekend if you want to set the right habit, because if you don't follow up, like, hey, is everything okay, or whatever, they're like, they forget they had to check in or call in. And their first week, and especially their first weekend, you want your reps calling in from every appointment. You know, you want them checking in, you want them calling in, at least giving you updates. Sometimes you'll be in interviews, so they'll leave. You'll tell them, hey, like, if I'm in an interview, you'll just leave me a message with exactly what's happening, or shoot me a text. Here's what I want in the text message. You know, not like called in for an update. You know, no, it's like complete a demo, blank amount of CPO, blank amount of recs, blank amount of yeses. You know, whatever it is. But when you're doing like, you know, on a Saturday or Sunday, like in the summertime, we'll have a lot of, you know, Thursday, Friday training. And so Saturday is just a huge demo day. So you can sit by the freaking pool all day, you know, and just like take PDI calls and close sales, follow up with people, drive demos, and drive your week, you know. It's no problem. You can go out there and do a couple demos yourself. Take some of your guys' field training during the push. You'll definitely do that, all right? But you want to try so that they know you're paying attention. Hey, is everything okay? Hey, what happened? Oh, they canceled on me. Oh, by the way, if you talk to someone on the phone, they go, oh, my demo canceled. What's the conversation? Can someone walk me through that conversation? So, and by the way, let's say I didn't hear from them. I call them back an hour later, whatever. All right, and so there's two scenarios. One is they called you right away, and one is they called you later. All right, I'm gonna go the same route with it. But so first, let's say they did call in. All right, oh, I had a demo. They had to reschedule with me. All right, so they're calling in to tell you to have the reschedule. This is, you know, first weekend, and again, set it up right the first weekend. They already know what to do post that. All right, but first weekend, someone calls you. Oh, I had someone that had to reschedule. What are you saying? Anyone? Raise your hand. Take a stab at it.
Any calls?
Huh?
Are you making any calls?
All right, so go ahead.
Well, first you act nonchalant about it, like because they're usually down. It's like, hey, cool, it happens, and just like walk them through that. And then whenever they're in a better mood, it's like, hey, what can we do? Yeah, what can we do now instead of, since they're not doing the demo? It's like, okay, can you make a few phone calls? Can you go on field training, and then we try to find a solution for them?
Okay. And by the way, here's a easy key phrase. Hey, you're planning on working anyway during this time. Hey, can we sit down and rock 15, 20 calls? I said, you might just make 2 and someone can see you right away. I said, it's pretty easy. And especially on the weekend, I tell them, like, it's pretty easy to get a replacement if somebody's home. I'm like, if they're home, like, yeah, come by. Like, they're there, you know? If they're out, they're out. But if they're home, it's real easy to get a weekend demo. If they're not doing anything in the house. So, and by the way, a big thing, go ahead.
First weekend, you're not really pushing 5 before or 5 after, I'm guessing.
Oh, yes, you are.
You are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everything you ever want a rep to do, it's set up their first weekend.
Beginning. Okay.
Every habit that you want reps to have is set up in their first weekend. Some of you guys were managed great your first weekend. Some of you guys were not. All right, I know that. And the fact is, like, that shapes and molds habits. All right, it's what you get used to doing. If from your first demo you make 5 calls, hey, did you make your 5 calls before? Okay, well, do that real quick and then call me back, you know, or they finish a demo, they're giving you results. I'm like, hey, did you do your 5 calls after? No, do that real quick, call me back and give me the results, you know. And if you get them in the habit of that their first weekend, that's just ingrained in their brain. I make 5 calls before, I make 5 calls after, all right? So this rep calls me and goes, oh, my demo had to reschedule. I'm like, oh, hey, dude, it happens. It's part of the game. I'm like, no big deal. Now, by the way, I already mentioned in training, if that happens, which it's going to happen, it's part of the game, you're planning on working anyway, what do you want to do? Make some calls during that time. I said, you make 20, 30 calls during that hour that you're going to have your demo, pretty easy to line up another 3 to 5, maybe 7 or more, okay? But you book up 3 to 5 more demos ahead of you. Was that worth it? Was that good work? Oh, yeah. You just guaranteed yourself a bigger paycheck, okay? And by the way, many times you'll be able to get a last-minute one, or, you know, right off the bat, especially on the weekend. All right, and so I say that. Sometimes I forget to say it in training, so then I just tell them on the phone, hey, by the way, because I'm like, hey, do you remember what we said before? Like, oh, yeah. I'm like, dude, make some calls right now. And by the way, when you get to ask for the time, go, hey, Miss Jones, I know this is out of the blue, but I had someone that had to reschedule, and I'm actually trying to get one more right now. Are you guys home right now? And just ask them. And they'll go, oh, yeah, honey, we're home. Come over. Boom, you got a demo. And one of the most beautiful things, one of the best things to do to create results, tell stories. So I'm like, Ronnie did that, by the way, 2 weeks ago. Like, she had someone cancel, and she made some calls, booked an immediate demo, by the way, went over there, sold her first homemaker set. One of my guys, Jack Underwood, his first demo rescheduled. He went and talked to some of his neighbors across the street, and he got one of the neighbors, and they did a demo with him, sold a vegetable peeler, but he told the people, hey, I still have an opening before my next one, and they introduced him to one of the other neighbors he didn't know, and he sold them a homemaker set, by the way. All right, true story. And being able to share stories with people, and then they get excited about wanting to make calls or talk to the neighbors because maybe they could do that too. Does that make sense? All right. So making sure that we're doing that. So on the call, it's, hey, dude, no worries, part of the game. You're planning on working anyway. hey, where are you right now? And just seeing where they're at. Maybe they went back home. Then it's like, hey, check with some of the neighbors. So-and-so did this. And they were able to get an immediate, knocked out their first sale. I would also make like 15, 20 calls. Dude, if you book up 3 to 5 more demos during this time was worth it. You know, it was work time anyway. Let's get some work, try to get it immediate. But if not, let's get some more demos lined up for the weekend. Sounds good? All right, cool. How many what are you committed to doing? And give them a follow-up time. Say, hey, give me an update within 30 minutes, or give me an update within the hour and let me know what's happening. If you book an immediate, call me immediately so we celebrate. Sounds good? All right, awesome. Talk to you soon. And just, creating that action with that person. And if it was an hour and a half later and they're like, oh, sorry, they had to reschedule on me. All right, then, Fran, what's your conversation with that kid? So they had a demo at 1, they never called in. You called them at 2:30, like, dude, everything okay? I haven't heard from you. Like, oh yeah, I just, someone had to, I didn't have it. Someone rescheduled on me.
Yeah, don't worry. I know we had discussed earlier about final whatever I wanted to do. I know earlier we're going to go ahead and do your first week. Something that you want to go ahead and be a good coach and hold you accountable for. I need you to go ahead and just keep calling me during the demo so you can go ahead and build those habits in the 6-3-minute scholarship you talked about. So one thing for sure.
That was really fast. I didn't understand half the words you said. I talk fast. I talk fast.
Sorry. I don't know. I'd probably just go ahead and ask them. Tell them that earlier we were talking about how I was going to hold you accountable for this. And it starts here. I want you to be a very successful representative. So can I count on you from now on to keep on to your word and call me in?
And by the way, from when you start off, you can be more simple. Like initially, like someone goes, oh yeah, dude, Fran, like they totally rescheduled. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, hey, what have you been doing? Like, I'll just ask them, like, hey, what'd you do for the past hour and a half? Like, that's gonna be my first question. Like, they were scheduled on you an hour and a half ago, right? It was work time for an hour and a half. So my first question to that kid is just like, all right, cool, dude. Hey, it happens. Hey, what have you been doing for the past hour and a half? And maybe they're like, oh, I was studying, or oh, I watched a video, or oh, I made calls. I'm like, awesome. Great job. And I'm going to compliment them on taking the right actions during that time, that they were going to work anyway. Or they're like, I don't know, I just playing some PlayStation, just waiting for my next demo. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I get that. I'm like, and then I'm going to ask them first before I say anything, Fran. I'm not going to tell them, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to go, hey, dude, do I have your permission right now to be a good coach? Or do I have permission to be a tough coach? Hey, can I have your permission to have a real combo with you right now? Or can I have permission to hold you accountable? Be like, one of the things I promised you in training is I was going to be a good coach, man. And for me to be a good coach, I have to be able to hold you accountable. Do you, by taking an hour and a half that you planned on working, that you had in your schedule as work time, and utilizing it to play video, do you feel that was getting you closer towards your goals? Be like, I'm all about video games, dude. I love video games. Be like, but you had that time blocked for work. So video games should be later at night, or on your day off, or you're chilling doing nothing. But it shouldn't replace work time, So I want to be able to, I want to ask you, I want to make sure I have your permission, to hold you accountable. But you're better than that. I know, but I'm glad you had a cool time. But hey, moving forward, if you have work time, do I have permission to always hold you accountable that it's work time? So if we're not in a demo, it's making phone calls, it's watching an audio or a video, something helping you to impact your paycheck. Is that cool? All right, well, hey, glad you had fun, man. Hey, what can we do now? What time's your next demo? All right, cool. Hey, what can we do right now to get you back on track? All right, and just talking with that person. So that's really important. So, hey, what have you been doing? And if they're like, oh, really? Like nothing. I'm like, all right, dude, hey, can I have a real convo with you right now? Can I have permission to be frank? Can I have permission to be real? And I'm like, hey, dude, remember we talked about me being a good coach? What was part of that? I got to hold you accountable. Do you feel you doing that was getting you closer to your goal for the week? Absolutely not. And I'm not saying you can't have fun, but that's how it's planned for work, man. And so I need to be able to hold you accountable that when it's work time, it's work time, And they're like, no, you're right, and they know that. And so as long as I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, so moving forward, do I have full permission to be on your boat? Okay, and you already know what to do, right? I don't have to be on. So if we're not, the first step that I would take is make 20 calls. That's the first step I'd always take. I try to get an immediate right away. And then if you can't, it's up to you if you want to keep calling, or after you make your 20 calls, if you want to sit and watch an audio or video or something that's going to help you impact your paycheck. And you can always text me, hey, Kat, what's a good video I can watch? Or what's a good audio I can watch? And I can always help you out. But I really want to see you grow. I want to see you get better. You're someone that I could potentially see X, Y, and Z, and whatever vision you have for them. We good? All right, awesome. Hey, let's rock those calls, or hey, rock that video. Excited to talk to you after your next demo, and get it moving forward. So you have here, so rewind. I don't know how we got into, because I was saying stay organized and I got into a whole tangent of calls. Because that's why I talk too much and we're late in our preps. I think I'm just going to stick to like 3 topics from now on. So on this, so with the PDI call, so first thing was stay organized. Number 2 says never what? Blame, reprimand, show disappointment, or critique over the phone. All right. So you can always ask their permission to give them tips to help you out. Like I didn't say, oh, well, here's what I would do. Never volunteer your information without asking if they want to hear it. That's a great way to build relationships because then they don't look at you as a tyrant. Meaning they do something wrong or they say whatever. I'm like, hey, dude, can I give you some tips? Or, hey, is it cool if I tell you what I would do? And they're like, oh, yeah, what would you do? And I'm like, dude, if I were you, like I would do da-da-da-da. Or, oh, when I was new. And then you can share your thoughts or opinions, but ask permission to do that. All right. Because if you're just like, well, dude, you should get on the phone right now. They're like, dude, Jude's always telling me what to do. Versus like a demo cancels. You're like, hey, dude, is it cool if I tell you what I would do? They're like, yeah, what would you do, Jude? And you're like, dude, if I was you, I'd get on the phones right now. Dude, you rock, 15, 20 calls. You just ask people and tell them, no, like, hey, I got to get 5 today. Like I had someone that had to reschedule. Is there any chance you guys could squeeze me in? I could head over now or I could come later at blank time. It would help me out so much. And I bet that if you call 20 people, you'd be able to find one for today, man. And is that cool? Can we sit down and get that done? All right, awesome. Hey, why don't you do that? Give me a shout as soon as either you book one or you get those 20 calls done. And we'll celebrate from there. Sounds good? All right, cool. And that's like just in the middle of the day, the little in-between calls. In the morning, this is more an outline for a morning call as you're kicking off the day. Because the day calls will go a little bit faster. But there's one main call as you kick off the day. That's this, all right? Sorry, last 4 things. Attitude is everything. Always look for positives, all right? Energy and passion, it travels through the phone. Guys, whoever you're speaking to, period. You are a rep. You are a manager. Or whoever it is. Whoever you're speaking to, they're like 3 notches lower in energy than you are. So if you're talking, to, your customer, you guys always want to be at like, you want to like think about closing a sale, right? Right. If you're at a 10, your customer's like at a 7. So that's like almost a guaranteed sale almost every time, right? If you're like at a 7, your customer's like at a 4. That's like a maybe and probably leaning towards the not. So if you want to guarantee a sale like every time, like think about Andy Janti who has a 90, 4% closing ratio. If you watch his demo, where's his energy level? I mean, can you guess by just those of you who have interacted with him before? He's like at a 15, all right? He's like a crack. And by the way, he's sold $2.3 million of Cutco, and every demo, he is as excited or more excited than he's ever been on his demo. And every time Miss Jones cut that leather, he's like, or cuts that, he's like, oh yeah. And he's just fired up because he knows that energy transfer that he needs to be here. And if he does that, his customer's always going to be like, oh my God, this is awesome. And they're all going to want it. So that transfers to everything we do. All right. Well, now, okay. So 2 different things. You're talking to a representative on the phone. All right. You're talking to a rep on the phone and you're giving them a deal for a customer. All right. I want the customer to be at a 7 or 8. That means my rep needs to be where? At a 10 or 11. That means you need to be where? 14 or 15. This is so huge because I hear managers give deals. And they're like, hey, dude, just let them know that you can do this that deal. And they're all right, cool, yeah, call me when you finish or whatever. That sale could happen, but in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's probably not happening. All right. But it'd be like, dude, like, I've got this deal for you. And even if it's just that, if you're not an animated person, it's like, dude, are you ready for this? Like, I've got a deal for you. I'm like, check this out. I'm like, write this down. I'm like, tell your customer if they wanted to do you could do this. I'm like, no way. And your rep gets fired up. Guess what? That sale's getting closed almost every time. Because then they're like, Miss Jones, guess what? My manager just said there's a deal that we could do that has da-da-da. Like, do you want to do that? And they're like, yeah. Boom, sale closed. So when you're giving deals, you're not just talking to your rep on the phone and be like, hey, dude, just make sure to be excited. No, they feed off of you. They feed off your energy. Got it? So very important that you're fired up every time you give a deal, whether it's you're like, oh my God, check this out, or you're just like, dude. And I'm more chill. If you watch a new video, I'm like, dude, I got a sick deal for you. I'm like, write this down. I'm like, check this out. I'm like, we have a deal. I'm like, I know she was gonna get that Kitchen Classics set, but we have a deal that has those three. All right, write this down. Write it down. It has a chef, it has a trimmer, it has a period knife, but check this out. It has a spatula. It has the carver for like turkeys and stuff. It has a tray. It has a cutting board. It has a sharpener, and she can pick out $125 of whatever she wants for free. So you could, and we could go a little over, we could hook her up, we could do like 4 table knives, we could do scissors and maybe even a peeler. She hooks you with a bunch of recommendations. You could do a pocket knife and a can opener. You could do the wine opener and a cheese. Like, we could get crazy here, all right? But by the way, all of that is over a $550 value that she's getting for, whatever. And it's $80 today. She was already gonna pay almost 2/3 of that price for just those 3 pieces. How sick is that? And we're like, wow. I'm like, so show her that, all right? Show her that and let her know, Miss Jones, I got this deal my manager just told me about, and see if she likes that package, all right? And if not, if she wants to do the classics, no problem. Make sure to look at the back of the book, because if she adds anything, she can get one free, cool? So if she added any piece to that, a fishing knife, give her a pocket knife free. If she added another, like, we can add something, but show her that package, dude, because that package is awesome. And guys, let me tell you, when I'm doing PDI, and I either like 90% of the freaking time, they end up going with whatever package I give them because of just how it's delivered, just how it's shown. And it is a better deal. They get way more for their money. And I always say that to the cut. I'm like, dude, they get so much more for their money. Like, oh yeah. I'm like, it's a sick deal. I'm like, if not, we'll go with what they wanted, but show them this because I think they'll love this. And they're like, all right, yeah. And then we hang up, all right? So energy and passion. PDI objectives, as it make people feel good, create action and more demos. Like those are 2 things that you're doing all the time. And then 80-20 rule, focus on your top reps first, especially as you're busy, you're running an office, you're running your branch district, you're helping right now as an assistant. You might not have time to talk to all your representatives, but do you always know what's happening with your top 20%? That's the most important thing. Every day, all day, every day. I have my biggest sales weeks when I'm only working with 15, 20 reps. Push periods, all right? Because I pour all my time into them, and we always have our biggest sales performances. So don't forget, 20% of people do 80% of production, all right? Focus your time there. So let's go through this real quick. Number 1, what do we do first? What does it say there? So you're talking in the morning. Connect, all right? So it tells you what to do. Build rapport. How was your week? Hey, how was your night? If you saw in their notes or you knew they had a test or it was grandma's birthday or whatever, what should you be asking? Hey, how was your test? How was grandma's birthday? How was the party? How was whatever? Cool? So go through that. Recognize, appreciate, ask the tough questions. And so making sure to ask how they're doing, how they're feeling, whether it's good or not, grades, diving into stuff. But you're just connecting with them, whatever it is for that call that morning, all right? Make sure you connect. Number 2, create excitement, all right? You want to make sure to create excitement for whatever's going down. So in that check-in call, I'm like, dude, so whatever hot news is happening with the team. And by the way, you don't need to say every single one of these things, but whichever ones are relevant for that day, all right? So letting them know whatever's happening that day. Sales are popping, be like, dude, we're selling the heck out of signature sets, like today's signature Saturday, and anyone who sells a signature is going to a drawing. We're giving away a fishing knife at the team meeting, and just like having some fun with it. But letting them know of anything coming up, events coming up, what's next. Then coordinating, like look at their schedule, all right? So do you have all their goals in the schedule? Do you know what their demo goals for the week? So by the way, this might be more at the beginning of the week where on a daily basis, I'm just holding them accountable. I'm like, hey, dude, I know you had 1 and 4 today. I saw you only had 2. Oh, no, I got 1 more. I'm like, all right, awesome. So we're still missing 1. What's the game plan for that? All right, cool. Hey, just do your 5 calls before, 5 calls after. I know you're walking into your demo coming up here in about 15 minutes. Make sure to do those 5 calls before. Do the 5 calls. You could probably land one then, but if not, make sure to, when you rock your racks, ask for the top 2 or 3, see if she can call this for you, offer her a free peeler to get you yeses, and you can book those right away. Cool? So let's make sure to get that in there. Be like, all right, cool. And just giving them a plan. So you just coordinate how they're going to get that done. If they're going to make calls, how many numbers do they have? They're going to have a phone jam. You need to know that. Okay, make calls. How many numbers do they have to call? Are they ready to come in for that Wednesday night team meeting or that Thursday night and rock the heck out of those calls? All right, so they might be, they might not, but that's really important. All right. So find out how many contacts they have. Find out, what's in the schedule for the next couple of days, what's happening, because you always want to make sure they're looking at the 3-day window. All right. And lastly is creating action. You always want to make sure, we're getting them on the phones. Can they make 10 calls and call you back? Like they have something they're working on, but there's things set in line. to set back and always send off on a positive send off. And so we're gonna, next prep, we're gonna do some more practice and role play of this. I really want to make sure we're crushing this, especially as we go into the January program. This here is a cheat sheet that Mary Lou put together on just different focuses for each day, right? And some of these might be different for your office. This is the Wednesday night team meeting. This is, so it says like Wednesday, so it leads into that. So it would just be like one day different. But you guys can go through and read through here. Do not lose this. Put this in your binder. All right, you guys want to have this in there so you have this to reference, because we're going to be talking a lot more about this. We're going to do different scenarios, because people are like, well, what do I talk about today? Well, there's different focuses on different days with what you're looking back. Tuesday PDI is going to be a whole other topic on its own. It's one of the most influential, impactful PDI days of the week. What just happened yesterday? The weekend did, all right? So it's a really reflection time. It's a longer call of looking back, looking forward. How do they feel? How do they feel with that paycheck? What are we doing to duplicate it or increase it, okay? And so that's something that we're really walking through there with them. So you guys want to make sure to put this away, and we'll talk more about that. But again, is PDI a check-in call? Is PDI a report that you're taking? No, what is it? Impact and influence. Got it? It's a coaching call. So every time you're talking to someone, are you helping? Are you impacting and influencing them? Are you helping create action to help them hit their goals? That's your job. You're a coach, and your job is to help them hit their goals. Sounds good? All right. So let's take 10 minutes, jump around, use a trampoline, do whatever, and then Wasim's going to dive into campus stuff. All right. Let's roll.